What's up? Allie and Joe? How? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Alright, ready for weights. What's up, Hector? More weight. Sure I don't hold it too far back in my clavicle. Got a little woozy on that one, even though it was really light. I just have to make sure front rack feels nice. Not too bad. Doesn't feel great, but doesn't feel bad. try 5 sets of 3. Not too easy. That's right. What's up, Michael? Nolan. We need the heavy wraps on for my front squatties. Try not to use a belt today, mostly because it's in my trunk and I don't want to go and get it. No, I teach in an early childhood center, so kindergarten, first and second grade. I used to teach in a K-6 building, and that building changed to a 1 through 6 building, and now I'm K-2. In a couple years, when they build new buildings, I think it will be a K-5 that I'll be at, but always with the littles. And even when I was in special ed, the oldest I ever had was 6th grade. I was the oldest the building I ever had. But my dad did high school for 20 some years, and now he's in a middle school, but just wasn't the job I got. I would have, no, I don't, Louise, but I would have done it if it was offered, but it wasn't. Now I kind of have all the experience down here, and I'm not really even like in my life in teaching, I wouldn't be opposed to older ages, but it isn't. I'm happy where I'm at now, so I don't really want to change that. But if like, I was actually discussing this today with a friend. Like, if I ever wanted, like, if I had a reason to want to finish my day earlier, then I would potentially push to go to middle or high school if I had a reason, like I have to get out by 3 because I have whatever obligation. Because my school ends at 4:05, so it ends pretty late. But I don't have that restriction now. In theory, ending earlier is nicer, but I think once we're at a K to 5 building, I think that our end time might be, I'm guessing, might be a little bit earlier. Okay. Let's do another set of 3. I wish that was easier. Sometimes that happens when you do a big jump. First set doesn't feel good, but the load stays the same. It feels better. So, at your age of being, let me actually pull my camera out for the youngin'. So, the best advice I can give you at this juncture is to just consistently train. Obviously, you play different sports and you have stuff like that, but if you have any sort of off season, whatever your strength coach says, and being consistent with that, I think that is by far the most difficult thing. So there isn't necessarily like a tip of you should do this or that. As long as it's like a full body split, then you should be good to go. That was where I got the best results. Initially was a 4-day split, upper lower, and I just did all the exercises the strength coach had, so I never deviated from that at all. And obviously I was real skinny, so I was like 135 when I was a sophomore in high school, so I responded real well to that. But I was also extremely consistent. I stopped playing basketball, so I had a bunch of extra calories that I wasn't losing from playing basketball. And I think I genetically respond to training pretty decently. But just find a program that, if you're at your high school or whatever, and just follow that. I mean, it's the biggest thing. Obviously, you can go above and beyond and find a coach or whatever or anything. But I mean, if your strength and conditioning stuff at your school is really poor, then, I've never done CrossFit or anything, but doing something like CrossFit could be good to do if you can afford it, as far as, getting like general training in. But as long as you're lifting and just building the consistency, then that is by far, I think, the most difficult thing to do. Yeah. And I mean, like, what would be nice if you could find some sort of like CrossFit thing is you would start to get exposed to obviously a variety of movements and to some of the weightlifting movements. Yeah, so like, you talk to your strength coach, and I'm sure, making sure you're doing upper and lower body stuff. It's really simple when you're young in that regard. But then if you want to add explosive stuff in, if you have the ability to do like some Olympic lifts, especially in the off season, and really kind of doing them light in season, could be nice. If you look up Will Rattel, he does a lot more of like sport specific training, and that's a real good guy to look at. But if your strength coach is really good, then that's something, to get a figure out, what you need to do from him, or and kind of just figure out, a general plan of training. But as long as you're doing something consistently and you're trying to, just build more muscle mass, that's going to be the best thing you can do. And then you can dabble in, stuff like, cleans and stuff to experiment with it. But I mean, they're technical, so they'll take a little bit for you to get proficient enough at them. But especially if your strength coach is real good, then he might be able to help you learn them a little bit faster. So just be training consistently, and I think in-season training is good to do. All you have to do is mitigate the amount of volume. So obviously, say like back squats. If you have a game the next day, you're not going to do 5x5 back squats. But if you have games on like Tuesday and Thursday, and then you have a Saturday one, like the Tuesday one is not that important of one. So maybe you could train right after your game on Tuesday, or you train really early on Wednesday. You can plan your training around and not necessarily like max out everything and go crazy with it, but you can still train and you're young, so you'll recover really well from training in general. So not necessarily, I gotta redo this rap, not necessarily that you'll get away with more, but like you'll just recover better from it. And because you will recover better from training, you can not necessarily be more risky, but like if you work a little bit too hard, it's not going to be a bad thing. I'm doing front squats, so I gotta fix this wrap though. It's a little bit too tight on my right leg. But yeah, I think like for me, my problem was always doing too much, but I think I'm an anomaly in a lot of regards as far as that goes. And I think as long as you find a general program and you're linearly progressing it, and you're trying to add muscle mass and trying to get stronger, and then you add in like explosive stuff, Olympic lifts, jumps, rotational stuff. I mean, you're already a pretty big kid anyway, so it's not as if you need to like gain a whole bunch of like body mass to like have enough necessarily. But I mean, if you're already 6 foot, like you're gonna just naturally grow more as you go through high school in general. But just developing that strength, because like I think you had a video and you're talking about like you get to the warning track. If you're just stronger, you'll hit it further. And it's I experienced that myself when I was a junior. It's actually I never was much of a home run hitter, but I hit a couple home runs that fall, and it was like just because I got stronger, just because I was training a lot, gained weight, and just was generally stronger. And it's going to help you recover better during the game as well. Obviously perform better, but also just be more durable, which is my dad had this great advice, and it's still true for athletes. Like your number one goal when you're training now, any point in your athletic career, is to prevent injury. So that's number one. So if you are getting injured while you lift, if everything hurt, if you're doing stuff to you that's like hurting joints and stuff, and you're probably doing too much, but you want to prevent injury, so you want to be durable. But then sports performance is secondary to that, and then tertiary to that is bodybuilding, like having muscles and stuff. As long as you have the focus of you're trying to be more conservative than more aggressive with your training, especially when you're in season, and then you're focused on sports performance, trying to exert a lot of force. But Will Rotell does a really good job of explaining the benefits of the Olympic lifts as far as sports performance goes. Because like I just do weightlifting, so like I don't need to worry about running and sprinting. I mean, I can, maybe it would help, but like I don't have to. For you, it's going to be more beneficial. And also, cardio is minimally important. I wouldn't say to not do cardio, but you want to focus on anaerobic systems. A lot of baseball coaches want you to run miles and miles and miles, and it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, but it will wear your body down and not really be helpful. You're trying to get more explosive if you're just jogging, building your aerobic system. But yeah, just try to get stronger. That's the best thing. And don't worry about your muscles, because muscles will grow if you train. I can't. Third set. first rep I collapsed, but surprisingly I was able to correct it. Usually it gets worse. But first one, I guess, is kind of a misgroove in that regard. Well, that's good. I mean, and you can add in, I mean, stuff like snatches and stuff, but if you're already trying to, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say deadlifts with shrug. Like, the best way to get good at cleans or to learn them is to do them. But if your program has them, then I wouldn't shy away from them at all. And I think the biggest thing when you're learning the Olympic lift, especially from like a football context, like doing power cleans is fine, but you also want to practice like catching a power and squatting all the way down, so you have that ability, that full range of motion, because it's just good. Obviously, longer range of motion, you're going to build more muscle, you're going to have better mobility, and you're going to be able to exert force over a longer time that you are, using that muscle. That's like the whole idea of like quarter squats and stuff doesn't make any sense. It's like, wouldn't you want to flex your muscle for a longer range of motion anyway, and have generate force for a longer period of time than a shorter? But focus on obviously proper form. If you're doing squats and stuff, which you should, getting as deep as you can and building that comfortability in that position, because that'll just be good for mobility. And I also, maybe I'm wrong, I'm just a phys ed teacher that just likes to lift, but I would say that training a longer range of motion is going to help make your joints more stable and more durable. But also, when you are focused on longer ranges of motion, you're going to lift less weight, and that's not a bad thing. It means it's more challenging. If you do a bench press from right here all the way up versus all the way down, you can't do as much weight, but that inherently makes it not as dangerous in a sense, because you just have less shear load on your body, but also you're just building more muscle because you're going through a longer range of motion. It's kind of, but I gotta fix the left one. But deep squats and back squats, front squats, if you're doing deads and all of that stuff, just try to make sure that you're trying to get as good as form as possible. But I mean, if you're doing cleans and deadlifts and stuff, like I didn't even deadlift in high school. I think I did one deadlift. It was a sumo deadlift at my house, and it was like 225. I think that was the only deadlift I ever did in high school. But it wasn't really like, it was just never like taught or anything. I didn't even really squat either. I really didn't squat very deep. But if you're focusing on that reps or on the mobility, it'll just generally be better for training anyway. Building positional strength. Stronger athlete usually is the one that wins the battle, especially talking about football. But it's not like deadlift and shrugs. It's kind of like a clean pull where you're trying to pull it up. But yeah, I mean, if you're doing those, obviously those are good accessory movements. But just doing the full movement, you're not gonna go wrong. Squatting and pulling and stuff. That's for sure. But you 100% want to. It's just a different animal. Once you start doing cleans and stuff, it's a different animal than anything that you would have ever done with a deadlift or a front squat. It's just a different thing. It's different than a vertical jump. It's different than a sprint. It is like trying to catch a 300-pound lineman and then trying to push him the other way. I don't know if that's even a good comparison, but it's just a different thing, because not only do you have to be strong and aggressive, but you also have to be able to be fast. And it's just, I don't think there's any other movements that has that combination. Plus, like, it looks cool. It looks cool and you feel athletic, probably because you're doing them. But yeah, you're doing that stuff already as a freshman, that's already far and beyond what my coaches ever had. But thankfully, our strength coach, like, he had a good program to get you generally strong. It was pretty idiot proof. If you followed it, yeah, clearly I gained a lot of muscle doing that in high school, going from like 135 as a sophomore to like 175 when I graduated. So like clearly something I was doing was working because I was extremely lean still and gained a lot of muscle. All right, this is gonna be the fourth set. Something exactly what I needed to do. Front squat to rates. Yeah, you have a good one, Nolan. Jorge, go to bed. Jorge, go to bed. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late for love. Come on, Jorge. Hope you had a good day, and I hope you go to bed soon. Yeah, likely story. So they all say. Well, depending on how long you brushed your, yeah, I'm sure tomorrow will be a great training session, but depending on how long you brush your teeth, you might see my last set of front squats. I've done 4 sets of 3 at 150. I'm gonna do one more. One more. Front squat's complete. The rehab center music. You got something you need to tell us? I don't know. Kind of weird music to play at a rehab center. I guess you would know better than me, I guess. Yeah, I always think about life before I do front squats. Question everything. Question everything. What is it? Aldo. It's like you meant to type Waldo, but forgot the W. Whew. That was good though. Glad I got all 5 sets in. Nothing really hurt too bad or anything either. It's just nice. Or warm up for some hang snatches and see how they feel. And some hang cleans and jerks. If I feel pretty crummy, then we'll put them off until tomorrow. Since that was kind of the original plan, so if they don't feel good, then they don't feel good. but we'll do them at 50, 70, maybe 90. We will see. Yeah, Jorge, let me pull my chair up. We're back. I lost the connection. So, in short, yes. And there is credence to both sides. So and you see this a lot on Instagram, people just use clips from other channels, Hook Grip or ATG or Iron Mind, and they're not transforming the content at all. They're just using it. And that's where, like, some of the footage that Vintage lifts, and it's not just his account, but a lot of accounts will just use, and it's like, look at this lift from 1985, and it's just, that's it. So you do have to land some value to the opinion that Iron Mind would say, like, I don't want you to use my content, I don't think it's transformative, blah blah blah. But I mean, from my understanding of, like, fair use, if it is transformative, even if it is someone else's content, it's irrelevant whether the content owner wants you to use it or not. But at the same time, if you're getting content, like, all of the stuff when I'm training, when I'm playing music, I would say falls under fair use pretty obviously, because I'm literally just lifting and just music in the background. But I'm also not going to go through the legal things of trying to fight all of the stuff that gets popped up for music or whatnot. But so while I do think that Iron Mind should have the right to copyright their content if they feel like it's not transformative, I think banning the account or getting it suspended is certainly an overreach when you could just tell them to take down the content. Hi, Allie. And kind of approach it that way. Kind of like, use the music example again. If I get a copyright claim on one of my live streams or on a video or whatever, like, it doesn't take down the video generally. Occasionally it has, where it's blocked everywhere, but, like, the worst thing that happens is, like, it's blocked in Belarus and Russia, and it's because of the music label. But you just get a copyright, like, notice on it. So I do think that getting the account suspended is certainly an overreach, but I also don't know how Instagram treats that sort of thing, because you see people stealing content all the time and not do anything. So like, I agree that Iron Mind should be able to, like, take down their own content, but I think once you get that account suspended, then I think it becomes a little bit of an overreach for sure. But I think that the whatever post that he recently had talking about how Iron Mind wants him to pay legal fees and never speak ill of the company, it's just, once you start getting into that category, it's like, you have a right to your content, but you don't have a right to tell people how to behave towards your content. And whatchamacallit, like, just like, can't tell you how your opinion is. And it's even trickier because he's not a U.S. citizen. So, like, I don't know how fair use even interacts with that sort of thing. I guess, like, Instagram would probably take an American approach to it, just because it's a U.S.-based company. And it makes Iron Mind look bad, because there's also an argument too, which I think is an interesting one, or at least the idea that you're filming other people lift. So inherently, even if it's weird, because, like, if Hook Grip is filming a lifter, they're not going to go through that professional grade and film all their stuff themselves. They could, but they're generally not going to do that. So, but at the same time, you're filming another person lift. They are the content. They are the thing that you are filming. And I think Hook Grip and Tyrannical, I mean, if it's wrong, then I don't know what's missing from it. Yeah, it's definitely Tyrannical, because, like, when you're filming other people lift, like, that is inherently their content. Like, if any of Iron Mind's videos, let's just say, like, Pyrus Demas is like, no, I'm copyrighting all of your content that you have me in, or the Greek coach, the Greek organization is like, no, we're copyrighting all of your content. They probably could, but weightlifting has always kind of had that thing where it's like, you just don't, like, you can film, like, Weightlifting House goes and films Lasha, and that happens, and all the different organizations go, and you film people, training or competitions and stuff, and nobody has any sort of issues with it, athletes or other people that are doing that same thing. Um, Now at the same time, like if I went and re-uploaded Iron Mind's training hall videos to my channel, like yeah, I would think that you should copyright that because he is adding commentary to it. He went and filmed that. That's his own content. But if you take a snippet of it, that doesn't take away from the overall content. And especially a lot of times when Vintage List talks about something, he's not simply one of the channels that just reposts something. He is adding commentary to it. He is adding a description that is talking about the significance of the lift, doing something to it, which I think I'd rather the bar for fair use be lower rather than higher, but especially when you're filming like someone else lift, like if it was literally like if I, for instance, if you took one of my videos of me lifting and then reposted it, like it would feel weird in that regard because I filmed it, it's me lifting, it's all my stuff that I did. But if I was at another gym and someone filmed me and then posted it and then you took that and used it, like it wouldn't, it's another degree removed. So I think it certainly makes Iron Mind look bad because a lot of people, like to repost clips of people doing weightlifting and stuff like that. And it's a weird thing because there's also the other thing. We're losing it. Yeah, and I'm losing. My phone's getting a little too hot, but yeah, it's definitely it's a crappy situation too. Because like I said, getting his account deleted is certainly an overreach, and I wouldn't necessarily say tyrannical. I just think it's a misuse of the copyright system, which I think is very easy to misuse. And I don't know, like I would get it, I would understand it more for like hook grip and stuff if you're doing that because he's still an active company that's profiting off weightlifting specifically. But Ironmind hasn't done anything in weightlifting for a very long time. So like I believe that's one pillar of fair use is how much you use, is it transformative, and also like is it a substitute for the original. So like using a clip from an hour and a half training montage, is that taking away from all that content? Probably not. Are you taking away money from them? You could argue maybe, but like that's a hard argument to make. Well, I just think Iron Mind. I don't see. That's the other thing is like I just assumed that Iron Mind just didn't care about weightlifting anymore. That's why they have all the grip stuff. I know they just posted all of their stuff on YouTube, which is kind of funny because like if you are looking to use their content, it being on YouTube makes it extremely easy to access, especially put all their training videos for free. Or competitions as well. I like watching the training hall stuff versus the actual competitions. It's a weird situation for sure. It would be like if Weightlifting House reposted a hook grip video and then they copyrighted it. I mean, you see people do it on like a story all the time. They repost a bunch of stuff, or I don't know. It's an odd thing, and like I said, like getting his account banned is certainly an overreach with that. Like I would probably be on their side if it was simply based on the fact that they're like, all right, I'm copyrighting all of my content, anything that has Iron Mind in it, can't use it, all of it is deleted and it's not there. But simply, I don't know how much videos and stuff. I know Vintage Lifts, he posts lots of old clips and stuff, but that's also one of those things too. If you think about like old lifts, it's not like they're usually, I've looked at it, it's a little bit too expensive for me to want to get, especially with the shipping to the United States. But I would imagine for you it's probably, I think he's based in Spain, or at least in Europe for sure, so it might be a little bit cheaper for you to get shipping wise, but kind of makes it not prohibitively, but I just haven't wanted to spend the money on a shirt like that. But I think he's doing a good job with now he has to make sure he doesn't use anything from Iron Minds, and I think it just kind of, I don't want to say it devalues the Iron Mind content, but it just makes it seem like, I don't know, I feel like if you film someone else lifting and you're profiting off it, which Iron Mind did for years, like if someone else wants to use it as well, I feel like it should be up to the person that's lifting. Because like Did he go and get permission from every single lifter that he ever filmed for all of his training and competition stuff? Did you get permission from all of the competition federations, like from every conceivable thing? Like, probably got permission to go into the training hall and to go into the competition venue, but like, did you get permission from every single person that was filming to film them and profit off of them, their likeness? And it's it's one of the things. It's like, me myself, like I wouldn't care, but if I found out that someone filmed myself lifting, was making money off of it, and then copywriting other people on that, then I would be quite upset. Like if you film one of my lifts and you're put it on a YouTube channel, or you have a training compilation or something, and then someone else wants, like, no, that's, everyone can use it. If I think one person can use it, everyone can use it, because it doesn't make any sense. It's not, like I said, it depends on the amount of the content too. If it's just a clip or something, then that's one thing. If it's, I mean, honestly, like, you should be able to like have the full training hall thing and be able to just put commentary over it, kind of how the Sika Strength people did, where they just went through and had commentary talking about different training things. And I don't think Hook Grip's ever had issues with that when people have done that, reacted to the content, or had commentary or used clips with that, because inherently it's not inherently it's not their lifting, it's not their content, it's someone else's lifting that they are using to profit from. So it's a weird thing, because if I went to, like, I could go to a baseball game and I could record a clip and of someone hitting or something, and that be, I think, totally fine. But then if you take a clip from like an MLB, I don't know, it's like the same thing. You get people that get like copyrights from like MLB, but other times, like, you could argue that it's fair use because you are transforming. I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. If you're transforming the content, if you're just simply reposting it, even a small portion of it, it's harder to argue fair use. But if you're adding some description or commentary or something to it, I think it is proportional to the amount of content that you're using. If you're using a 5-second lift that someone has, you're not going to have 20 minutes of commentary with it generally, or a 20-minute description or whatever. But I don't know. I don't like it. I think it's bad for weightlifting. And if it was like, if I'm reposting like Hook Grip stuff and I'm taking ownership of it and doing all that, and then it's still a little bit tricky. But it doesn't feel good that that's happening. And I know that guy's Thomas, the guy that runs the page. He's a real nice guy, and I think having a conversation would have been more beneficial than going right to like the legal thing. And I think that's kind of the approach that they should have taken, is like, hey, I don't think this is transformative. Maybe use it in this way, or I don't think it's transformative, and I don't want you to use any of my content. Like, there's a lot of better ways to go about it, but I don't know. I don't know too, like, if Iron Mind cares. Like, that's the weird thing too, is like, they never, like, they posted all their old training hall stuff and competition stuff, but like, they don't care about weightlifting stuff anymore. So it's weird. That's like, why would you care if someone else is like taking clips from it and talking about it, using it to describe something, creating content, using it. Yeah, and I think for them, like, them not coming out and giving their side of the story is not a good look at all, because it is quite difficult to get around that. Because nowadays, I would actually understand more, like, these different, like Hook Grip at ATG, I would understand them copywriting content more, because there is multiple avenues to see that same thing. So if like Lasha's 225 snatch, we have like 8 different angles. We have people that filmed in the same, you have all of these different views of the same lift. But if you're looking at like Stefan Botev training, doing it, that 250, whatever, like training hall thing from like the 80s or 90s, like, the only exists with Iron Mind. So if you want to see it, maybe that's what they want. They want to, monopolize that. But like, there's not like, oh well, I'll just go to this other thing and use it. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, especially when you post all of it for free now. and it's on YouTube. So like you could just rip it off YouTube and just have all the free DVDs that people had to pay for years to have. But yeah, it makes me not. I have the Iron Mine straps, which are still my favorite straps. So the blue straps, can't go wrong with those. They are certainly my favorite straps. But we're back. I can conceive them taking that recorded and did all that work, flying the competition stuff as their own content, and I agree with that. But also, like, even I would actually understand it more on YouTube because you can actually make money. No, it's not raining. I think my phone's just getting hot. That's why I'm holding it at this angle, so I have the fan blowing on it, which I think is helping it a little bit. But it doesn't feel super hot, but I'm trying to hold it there and while I'm talking this. So it actually serves, I have something to talk about thanks to your good question, but I'm letting my phone cool off a little bit. It did rain earlier, so it was storming it earlier, but that's not why the internet is having issues. I think it's purely just a temperature thing, which it's still pretty hot and humid, but it's weird. It's not hot enough for it to have issues. But yeah, unfortunately, apparently you can't use anything from iron mines in that regard. But it's an interesting thing that's going on, and I think for like Instagram, you don't directly make money from the videos and stuff like that. And if it was as simple as you have to cite that it's from Iron Mine or tag us or blah blah blah, I feel like they could have worked out something better, especially because it required got his account suspended permanently, which is obviously financially, and they want money from him on top of that. It's like if you wanted to financially impact him, you did, because you got his higher follower count deleted and he had to start over. So you already recouped losses in that regard. You punished the person doing something that you view as wrong. But I just I hope one day that someone reposts my clips so I can copyright them and steal their money. That's my big dream. I should repost my stuff so I can copyright it. I've actually never had anyone that I know of, at least for like the YouTube system, that you have like a tab that will show you like if you copyright claim someone else's stuff. So I don't even know how that system works. So maybe there's there are 5 subscribers that repost all my videos that I don't know about, but wouldn't really be good content to repost anyway. With all like 40 views I get on the YouTube video. But one day I'll be able to copyright strike people. One day in the future. But yeah, I don't know. It's something that it makes weightlifting look. I mean, it makes them look bad. I think I don't know, but like, even if they come out and they're like, yeah, we don't care, we're evil. Like, even if the most diabolical interpretation of what they're doing, like, I don't think it really impacts them because they don't do anything with weightlifting. They sell straps. Like, they technically sell weightlifting equipment anymore, but you don't really see many people use the blue straps anymore. You see a lot of people use other kinds of straps now, and that's really kind of where I would see them the most. Like, you don't see anyone with like shirts and whatever else that they sell on their website. So I don't know how much financial impact they're really suffering from someone using their clips, because they don't really try to profit off it. But yeah, they do have a right to their content in some regard. But if you transform it in fair use, it's certainly something that you should be trying to do with the content that you're using. And I feel like vintage, that's why I originally followed Vintage Lifts when he came out, was because like there's many accounts that don't do anything. They just repost the lift, they throw some crappy watermark over the video and just say this, say the weight of the lift. They don't add anything to it. What Vintage Lifts did well was transform the content. That's why I watched the content. I can go and look at a Stefan Botev lift. I can go look at a Lasha lift, but like he puts stuff into a context that's in a historical context, and he does a good job at that. And that's why I watched you could scroll through YouTube or Instagram, and YouTube too probably, and find channels or pages that just have the content itself and they don't do anything to it, but he transforms it, he adds to it, he I would say like his account in general, like collected in a way to where it was like a cool historical thing. I remember when that Iranian super heavyweight went like finding those clips of him doing like those crazy lifts. That was like I think some of the best work that he's done is finding those like crazy lifts that one of those random lifters just post on their story and just making it permanent. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I just did 260 clean and jerk, and it's just on their story, and then it disappears forever. But like getting that to be a post and like almost being a news, and also going into the significance of that. So like, in my opinion, he was transforming the content with the stuff because it made it interesting. If it wasn't like I like historical lifts and all that stuff, but you can see them anywhere. It's the context of it. Like an Iron Man video, um, it is it's good because of the historical context of it, but also it's because of the commentary adds to it. Like, you know, this is his 18th session today. This is his 14th attempt with 170. Blah blah. You know, it's like that commentary adds to it. If he was just going there and recording, then that doesn't take away from it, but it is less transformative in that regard. Um, but I don't know. Sorry, I had to send this text. Lifting away the sadness. I think my phone is cooled off enough to where it won't catch on fire. It's weird how it was. Hey, yeah, you go to sleep, Jorge. You close those eyes. Go to sleep. Ugh. Buenas noches. Te amo. Te amo. Say it back. Te quiero. Swear you're really gonna leave me? Leave me on red? It's pretty toxic. Te amo también. Gracias, gracias. Suerte sueños? I think that's how you say sweet dreams? Or good dreams, or... Te amo también. Te amo también. Doce sueños. That makes sense, because that's sweet. Suerte would be like luck or something with that. That's where my level of Spanish is. Like, I feel like if I said that, a Spanish speaker would get what I'm trying to say, even if it's technically wrong. But dulce sueños, sweet dreams. Don't think about me. I'll copyright your dreams, though. That's not fair use. If I appear in your dream, just know that you're going to get a notification. You're going to get a copyright notification. Have a good one, Jorge. Thanks for hanging around and allowing my phone to cool off. Alright, we're just gonna hang snapper still now. I don't know what that emoji is. See how these feel. Ah! We'll do another set there. We'll go up to 70. I think we'll do a double here at 70 and then be done and actually do this session tomorrow. Do a little bonus practice in, but I don't feel bad, but I don't feel good enough to work as hard at the hang snatches as I would like. And I feel like I need to do more of these days where I just lift light and try to lift fast. So, at least do one set. And alright. Back. Maybe we do some light hang clean jerks too, but let's come here at 70, make them feel nice. one more set there. First is a little tender, but it's not bad enough where I want to throw in wraps or anything. Especially since I'm not going heavier. Alright, one more set. It's a good set to end on with those. Didn't feel good, but didn't feel too bad. I do. Look at how many sets I did. Just 2, okay. We're gonna do some hang, power clean plus push press with this 70. At least one set. We're gonna use straps too. Just gonna end those there. Let's get a little work. A little extra work. Real positive session, getting all the front squats in, and I'll keep sliding over. But real productive session, getting all the front squats in, and training well in that regard. So anything on top of that was a bonus. What's up? need to continue to, tomorrow I'll actually do the hang snatches and stuff. I'm done now. Just put my knee wraps away and then I'm gonna head in and eat so I don't get skinny. But it was a nice session. 5x3 front squats. Did a couple sets of hang snatch and just one set of hang clean plus push press. So got some productive, just a little bit. Got some productive work in as far as that goes. But you never go wrong hitting volume in the front squat, especially with how difficult they are for me to do. It's nice that I felt motivated enough and strong enough or whatever just to do some extra work. Tomorrow will be nice because I'll be able to push the hang snatches and the hang cleans to their actual numbers I want to do. Now what I want to do is to go in and do some cardio as well. So do some cardio, eat, and relax. I don't necessarily have a goal of how much cardio in a week I want to get, but the more frequent I can do it, the better. The more better. And the more better, the better. Put all this stuff away. Mr. News, I hope you had a good day. Wish I could say mine was, but 'twas not. Was not a good day. I don't know, I just do Olympic weightlifting, so I don't have a favorite muscle or thing to do. Snatches. Deadlifts are my best lift. Snatches are my favorite because they're the most mentally difficult. But, yeah, I guess I'll oil the bar while I'm here. So if you have a bar outside, essentially this is kind of what the shed is. You put some 3-in-1 oil on it. Helps with the longevity of it. Keeps it from rusting. Stay back there, Mr. Bar. Put some clips or plates in front of this thing so I can turn it doesn't roll up. Whoa. oil is on the bar. Alright. It's going to have to be good enough for now. Thanks for stopping in, Jake. Peace.